3 years ago, we were confronted with a question: how do we deconstruct 5G into simple, malleable terms that the community can embrace in an open fashion? How do we synthesize 5G, compute, and the cloud in a converged format that simplifies and augments the customer experience? To do that, we need to think of 5G in novel terms. We need to offer 5G with operating simplicity and cost point economics like Wi-Fi. We need to start from the first principles. HQ's vision is to offer 5G in a manner that is fully programmable, configurable, and adaptable for the next trillions of users. That thesis became what is our 5G base station on a chip. But first, we need to assemble a team with a unique blend of 5G expertise, enterprise networking, and artificial intelligence. Composed of distinguished talents from Qualcomm, Intel, and Broadcom, our team powered the mobile-first revolution. Our pedigree draws from delivering more than 8 generations of modems spanning 3G, 4G, and 5G. This amounts to over 50 SoCs found in virtually all Apple and Android products. Equally, we are supported by notable industry luminaries like Paul Jacobs, ex-CEO and executive chairman of Qualcomm, Matt Grob, former CTO of Qualcomm, and Professor Kozirakis of Stanford University. Lastly, we are backed by world-renowned investors such as Threshold Ventures, Jerry Yang, former founder and CEO of Yahoo, Fusion Fund, and other notable strategics. These investors were critical in the early stage funding of distinguished global brand companies such as Tesla, SpaceX, Skype, and Alibaba. As for myself, I am Adil Kidwai, Head of Products at HQ. My focus and interest is how to reinvent 5G wireless infrastructure with an elastic, programmable 5G plus artificial intelligence base station on a chip. To start, 5G is more than just a fairer and faster pipe. It is about connecting the next trillion users in the undefined context of new services, new networks, and new architecture, all at the edge. It is all about constructively embracing adjacent technologies in a seamless, transparent form, such as artificial intelligence and the cloud. When we take a holistic perspective of cellular connectivity, 2G, 3G, and 4G have been evolutionary in terms of enriching the mobile experience from text, voice, to internet with 3G, to media and mobile economy with 4G. 5G is revolutionary from multiple perspectives. We expect seismic shifts in terms of its transformational properties, particularly from enterprise, industrial, and telco sectors. We expect innovations and disruptions in terms of network topology and architecture. And most profoundly, we expect new players, new entrants, supplying network connectivity for the first time. 5G can be synthesized into 3 major tenets: high robustness and reliability, meaning deterministic and ultra-low latency, high density of devices, and high bandwidth of volume of traffic. Different deployments require different services, different attributes from the network. The problem statement then becomes, how do you productize 5G infrastructure against a massive landscape with many different performance and feature requirements, with many different power and cost points, and with many different workloads and use cases? For the first time in cellular history, 5G presents an opportunity for profound reinvention and disruption. At HQ, we want to create a 5G platform composed of chip hardware and RAN software that allows fluidity, elasticity, and scale for our customers as they migrate through new spectrum, new standards, and new endpoints. We want to reconstitute the wireless infrastructure in a manner that is intelligent, agile, and cloud native. As you will see shortly, this all starts with the design of the baseband chip. To help contextualize the discussion, let us see how wireless network architectures have historically progressed over time. Even with the multiple components like a radio on top of towers and baseband units at bottom or central locations, traditional architecture started with a monolithic structure, a proprietary hardware platform married with a proprietary software connected by a closed proprietary interface. Even with virtualization or vRAN, it has been about proprietary software with virtualization functions running on cards or proprietary hardware. This conventional approach makes the overall structure rigid and inflexible for expansion or innovation. And with time, we witness the market resisting against vendor lock, slow deployment rollouts, and mismatched product features at very high cost. The concept of Open RAN challenges this decade-old framework. Open RAN is built on hardware and software sourced from any vendor. The critical enabler in all of this is the open interface between them. All in all, Open RAN enables migration to a cloud-native model and disaggregation of hardware and software. Now let us revisit the base station architecture, but through the lens of an Open RAN framework. The flow on the top shows the different functional components of RAN. On the receive side, we start from the right side by receiving RF signals on radios mounted on top of towers. These are processed and converted to digital baseband samples. Some signal processing operations are done at this unit, such as filtering, removing overhead of cyclic prefix, and converting to frequency domain symbols. As the name suggests, this unit is a radio unit and is deployed as per convergence requirements. These frequency domain symbols are then sent over to another entity for further standard specific processing. These include signal processing operations of channel estimation, equalization, demapping and error correction, and decoding. These corrected bits are then converted to packets, and that is aided with 3GPP standard defined protocols of MAC and radio link control RLC. Scheduling procedures of multiple users under the coverage, namely how often to schedule them over the air and how much bandwidth to give them, are also part of MAC functionality. As you can see, this entity manages multiple users and also will be required to perform these operations for multiple radio units connected to it. This is called a distributed unit. The DU aggregates processing of a collection of radio units or carriers. These packets are sent over to a central entity which does IP level processing and managing connection of the users and mobility across the coverage. This is called a central unit, which in turn aggregates processing from a collection of DUs. The different operations have been segregated in such a manner as to optimize the data traffic and control traffic in between the entities. These segregations are often called O-RAN splits. Now that we have seen the main components and their functions, how would one go about designing these units? With 5G, there are many applications, a lot more spectrum, both sub-6 and millimeter wave, numerous macro cells, many carriers, massive MIMO, and so on. Rather than being hard-coded, a fully programmable chip can support different configurations, all based on software upgrades. This includes many sub-6 configuration and millimeter wave as well. Let us now start with the hypothesis. What if we reimagine the DU with a software configurable baseband SoC? The DU implementation starts with the interface to RUs on the O-RAN front hall. Imagine now the hi-fi signal processing like channel estimation, equalization, and beamforming coefficient generation are done on a software programmable DSP. The forward error correction process is a standardized and intensive operation. Therefore, there is not much need for innovation here and can be programmable hardware engine. All of these operations culminate in generating bits, which need to be transferred to a general purpose host processor. Hence, additional interface to the host CPU needs to be designed. With that, we can now see a converged architecture for the SoC emerging. We need interfaces for radio, Open RAN fronthaul, and host processing. We need DSPs and accelerators to perform programmable baseband processing. And we need general compute for management, scheduling, and higher layer operations. What I just described is a framework for HQ's base station on a chip, a highly integrated, fully programmable 5G baseband processor. Virtually, every aspect of this SoC can be programmed for the rich and diverse 5G enterprise use cases. The idea is to present a scalable 5G platform in which customers and developers can leverage open source tools and C++ to configure the chip. In this block diagram, we can see a highly integrated SoC that uniquely embraces multiple ISA. In particular, you will notice how we leverage the strength of ARM and its open ecosystem as an integral part of our host CPU complex, suitable for layer 2, layer 3 processing, data processing, and control processing. Let me walk you through the other different subsystems. The first one is signal processing complex, which is a multi-core specialized baseband processing complex. The CPU subsystem consists of 8 ARM Neoverse E1 cores. The I/O subsystem consists of controllers for PCIe, USB, Ethernet, eCPRI, and JST. Protocol accelerator is the data path layer 2, layer 3 accelerator for MAC and cryptographic processing. FEC acceleration block is a forward error correction block and does the bit processing for different standards. RF interface consists of ADC, DACs, up-down sampler chains with support from automatic gain control, channel sense, and signal detect and digital pre-distortion. Building a complex system has traditionally been about trading off features versus cost versus power. Our approach is to make the architecture scale with ORAN splits, Hi-Fi, Lo-Fi, and an interconnect to support the traffic between them. With more requirements, we can scale one block more or less as desired. And to scale even further, we have interchip connection to allow processing expansion. This chip is massively parallel and fully programmable with open source toolchains for development. It is fully integrated to support 5G, artificial intelligence, NPU, and the CPU functions. When we constructed our SoC, we obsessed about our ability to integrate a host CPU that could handle the demands of layer 2, layer 3 processing for both small cell and macro-based station applications. We deliberately chose ARM Neoverse E1 to handle many of the key layer 2 MAC functions. These include critical 5G activities such as scheduling, multi-carrier aggregation, beamforming, which becomes paramount in millimeter wave applications, beam management, user pairing, and MAC processing. With an integrated ARM host processor, customers can software define the extent of layer 2, layer 3 processing done on the chip. This is particularly meaningful in 5G small cell solutions where customers may want to converge all the ORAN splits into a single chip. By no coincidence, the ARM Neoverse E1 provides a multi-threaded, multi-core architecture ideal for high single-thread performance, high packet processing rates, and scalability. These become meaningful and relevant when you consider 10 gigabit per second bandwidth, throughput of 5G, multi-RAT, and multi-carrier support and user growth. Then the question I will submit to you, the ARM community, is as follows. To be relevant and credible in the wireless infrastructure market, we need to strengthen our layer 2, layer 3 ecosystem. Today, this primary and x86 foothold. We need DPDK to enable high-speed data packet networking. We need a hard and fast path. These are areas we look forward to collaborating with ARM in the coming days. I've talked about different components of RAN and also subsystem in the HQ chip. Here we can map the two together and look at the flow of packet within the HQ chip. We start with RF interface, which is connected via analog IQ and a hardened IP that supports filtering, down or up conversions and RF impairment compensations, including DPD and CFR. The samples are stored over to the memories in the DSP complex, the soft modem engine where the lower PHY operations of channel prefix removal and FFT take place. In the DU mode, bit can be compressed to be sent over Ethernet on ECP protocol to the DU unit. Or if it is a G node B, further signal processing continues. On the DU side, the symbols are received and stored into the DSP complex and are decompressed and then further processed for channel estimation and equalization. These are then sent over the hardened FEC engine, which decodes the bits. These bits are then sent to the protocol accelerator for further processing on the host CPU to interface to the core network. But what is particularly extraordinary about being software driven is how we can converge 5G and artificial intelligence on the same chip. The same cores that are conducting baseband processing can also run AI in tandem. This is a unique HQ construct. To help contextualize, imagine a complex factory environment. The role of the base station is to support and schedule all of these end clients, which can be employees, robotics, assembly lines, computers, and sensors, with the proper quality of service, priority, and timing. By using AI algorithms, we can learn 5G traffic patterns, bandwidth prioritization, network congestion, anomalies, etc., to ensure that specific clients receive priority access over others during key times of the day based on their traffic signature. Another example of 5G enabled by AI is RF spectrum monitoring. An AI inference model can be trained to tune the RF filters accordingly to deal with interference. One base station can learn the RF interference pattern from machines connected to a different base station, and in effect, it can preemptively take action to reduce the automatic gain control time. One last example is spectrum monitoring. AI is to ensure base station to base station coordination via S3 scheduling. Imagine a moving employee where their particular signal or signal strength is learned and detected. Two base stations can be coordinated to enable better service and continuous coverage for the walking employee. AI can be employed to make it dynamically adaptable. By softwareizing the RAN, we have provided a chip that can be dynamically programmed to accommodate any of the ORAN splits. The chip no longer needs to be ripped and replaced. New 3GPP standards can be rolled out over the air, like Release 16 to Release 17 upgrade. New feature upgrades like URLLC can be deployed over the air. Multiple protocols can also be simultaneously deployed and coherently parallelized. Whether it is 4G, 5G, AI, or even Wi-Fi, each network protocol can be turned on or off in the field. Constructing an elastic programmable 5G baseband is really half of the story. What is truly extraordinary about HQ's approach is providing a fully hardened layer 1 physical layer that is production grade and is also fully customizable. This is unprecedented in the industry. Customers now have the ability to gain access to 5G algorithms via APIs to enable targeted customization and value-added services. And we didn't stop there. We wanted to provide our customers a production path all the way up to layer 2, layer 3 MAC. Customers now have a choice to leverage HQ's stack or develop their own, or leverage an off-the-shelf third party. All these optionalities are compatible with our L1 and the SoC. For the first time in cellular history, 5G and ORAN presents an opportunity for profound reinvention and disruption. It is really about unifying hardware and software in an open and programmable manner that enables and empowers new customers, new players, and new providers to deploy 5G in a massive and differentiated manner. What has historically been closed and proprietary is now open and configurable. What has historically been highly complex, expensive, and high powered is now compact, integrated, and affordable. This has been a monumental journey for us, and we are delighted to be invited members and contributors to ARM's 5G Solutions Lab, where we remain committed to accelerate 5G deployment intuitively, simply, and holistically. The HQ 5G base station on a chip is now sampling to our customers.